Welcome to Overdrive AF, the official podcast of Overdrive Fitness. My name is Teddy Gerzon, and I am joined by Gina Marie Gerzon. So this is the first episode of our podcast that we're doing over here at Overdrive Fitness, and we've been excited to finally bring this to you guys. After a lot of buzz, we finally decided to get going with this, especially after some much needed push from my wife and telling me I had no balls. It took 2 years to finally do it, but here we are. She's shaking her head because...
Throwing me under the bus again.
Yes, all right. So those of you that know us, you already know how this dynamic works. I'm the serious one. So the topics we're going to go over in our first ever episode is how to stay motivated, why Teddy hates UGG slippers on athletes, and a listener / social media request, which we're going to throw in every week or as much as we can, depending on the guests that we have lined up every week. But it is, who's the more influential American, Stephen A. Smith or Susan B. Anthony? All right, so leading into our first topic, for all you weekday warriors, small group personal training clients that we have and soon to have, let's cover how to stay motivated. Gina, do you have anything to add to that you want to start with on that?
Motivation. So what is motivation? So motivation, people seem to feel like is more external, but I think it happens to do with more of an internal thing. So where does your commitment lie, or is there a dedication to something?
Yeah, I think those are all great points. I would definitely have to agree with that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of, daily motivational quotes, stuff like that, because I just feel that if that's what you need to motivate yourself to get going, like, what are you really doing with yourself? Did you not come across enough of or a big enough of what some people call it a hot button, a red button, to get going on whatever it is that you need to be motivated to do?
Well, it's kind of like that typical, January 1st, let's hit the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And then 3 weeks later, people aren't seeing the results they want, right? Mm-hmm. So they just fall off and they quit.
Yes.
So where is that quote-unquote motivation really coming from? Are they dedicated to themselves? Do they have that self-integrity, right? Are they being honest with themselves? Are they making themselves a priority? How bad do they want it? Just as much as we can be dedicated to sitting on the couch and eating the Cheetos and, eating that tub of ice cream, or, what's the word? Binge watching those Netflix, right? There's that self-integrity, right? That honesty with themselves. Like, okay, three days a week, I'm going to hit the gym, or 3 days a week, I'm going to go out and run, or, you know what? I want to lose that 20 pounds by April 1st, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So where is it coming from? It's got to come from inside.
Honestly, I think if you're starting to lose motivation, it happens to everybody. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's on all the time. But in reality, you just need to remind yourself why you started. So let's say, you're asking how to stay motivated when it comes to working out, being consistent with your attendance and your effort. Just ask yourself, why did I even start this in the first place? Was I forced to come here? Did somebody make me come to the gym? Or, did something happen in my life where, I bent over to pick up my kids one day and I couldn't lift my 40-pound toddler, Or was it I was tired of climbing 2 flights of stairs and needing a nap afterwards because I exerted so much energy and I'm just such a fat piece of shit, I just ask yourself those questions. Why did you start? Why did you decide to make the change? Everybody needs it every now and then, but that comes from inside, like you said before.
That's that dedication to do anything. So that dedication. So say every Sunday, if you have a religious family or religious people, well, every Sunday at 10 o'clock we get up and go to church. And every Sunday after church, at 11:30, we go have breakfast together. There's that dedication to be together, to commune, to to have that family time. Or every Friday night, let's hit some balls. Let's go to the batting cage. I'm going to go with my son. Where's that dedication? Where's that honesty with yourself coming from? So we need that to come from inside. What are your priorities? And that's the same thing as we were talking about before. What are the priorities? If it's your priority to just go to the Chinese market and pick up that chicken fried rice and the fried dumplings every Friday night with your family, you could be making better choices, right? But what's the priority? So do we want to be healthy? Do we want to stay committed to our religion? Do we want to, that is that family time. Every Sunday we all meet at 5:00 at grandma's house for dinner to commune. Like, it's just that dedication. At the end of the day, what are your priorities? And that could be different for everybody. Your values and your standards that you hold inside of yourself.
I don't know about you, but the more you talk about food, I'm gonna start prioritizing eating, and so
I was waiting for that.
one track mind over here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna repeat it though. At the end of the day, just ask yourself why did you start? And that should really be the only motivation that you need to get back on track. Because I'm gonna be honest about it, and I'm sure you are very honest about it too with everybody else. There are plenty of days where I also lack the motivation to get through a workout or even work out. Like, we're both human. We do it. It happens to us too. We work long hours. Some days we are affected by the lack of sunlight, or any other reason, just lack of sleep in general. You only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep if we're lucky. But, yeah, there are going to be times where we lack that motivation. But, what I find from people is that they feel like they have to have the best performance. Like, they have to set PRs every time they come to the gym. Like, no, that's not realistic. One thing to keep yourself, yeah.
We want you to be feeling better than when you came in, right? We want you to leave feeling better than when you came in.
But really also, it's not about having your best performance every time you come here, setting a PR, whatever it is. It's also, giving your best effort. So giving your best effort and having your best performance are not one and the same. But sometimes giving your best effort for that given day may be just getting to the gym, and that's all you really need to do to stay on track. So just keep that in mind if you're having problems staying motivated.
Yeah, with different goals, right? Some of us are just trying not to die.
Yup.
You know who you are. I was just talking about how some of us just are trying not to die.
Yeah, right before we were interrupted by the dogs, you were saying, yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all about habits. Your brain doesn't know good or bad habits, it just knows habits. So if we're used to getting up in the morning, alarm goes off, get up in the morning, brush our teeth, take a shower. So if your brain knows to keep you, quote unquote, in survival mode, because those are the habits that we've created, is that, you get up, brush your teeth, take a shower, go to work, come home, sit on the couch, eat the Cheetos and the ice cream. That's the habit. We continue to follow that habit. So if we start creating those different habits, right?
Yeah, like making our priority to get to the gym.
Yeah, at 5:30, I'm going, I have my small group training session. Or every Monday and Wednesday, every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, I'm taking my weekday warrior class at 6:30. I know, it's in my schedule, like I know. Just creating those habits, packing my gym bag the night before, packing my shoes. 4:30 the kids have whatever. 6:30 I'm heading over to Overdrive. Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever your days are. Wouldn't you say
Absolutely.
All about habits?
And I think it's kind of BS, like the excuse of I had a hard time getting my kid to sleep. Come on, it's 2019. Chloroform was invented for a long time ago. That can always be used to just knock the kid out. Am I right? I think I'm right, because I only gave you two options there, and they're both am I right. So I mean, but speaking of habits, I think it's the brain only knows, what'd you just say? The brain only knows
It
what?
just knows habits. It doesn't
It
know
just
good or
knows
bad.
habits. So,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like what I was saying, the brain only knows habits, good or bad, just knows habits. So that, I think, is a perfect way to segue into the next topic, as to why Teddy, or why I hate UGG slippers on athletes. And now I know I had taken a shot at athletes for doing that, at the end of summer, leading into fall sports, and I'd only really gotten to explain myself as to why I hate seeing athletes wear those on a football field, let alone on a basketball court, or wherever it is, walking around school, walking
Yeah.
around everywhere. I only really got to explain myself in a small group or to one person at a time. So the main reason, I mean, yeah, I joke around and say, "Oh, it makes you look friggin' soft and privileged," but really, I say that when I joke around. But in reality, why I hate them is, well, have you ever seen them? What they look like? They don't have really anything around the heel. It's just kind of like a slide, but
And there's no
it's just,
aeration.
yeah. And the main reason why I hate them is because the most common problem that I've seen in athletes the last, let's say, 5 years, 6 years, is, I mean, aside from most of them starting to become a lot weaker than what we would normally deal with 10 years ago when they first come in as a new athlete to our gym. But the most common problem I see in athletes today at the high school, even middle school level, are just tight, weak feet and ankles. And, if you're all messed up from the ankle down, I can almost bet that everything on the way up is going to be messed up too. So,
It's not just
I
the
haven't.
Uggs. It's the Jordans. It's all
Yes,
those shoes they don't want to crease because they want to keep them, box
absolutely.
ready.
But like I was saying, like the reason why specifically I hate the UGG slippers is because, like, you really would be better off just walking around in sneakers if you didn't want to wear your cleats everywhere, which you shouldn't wear your cleats everywhere. But another reason why is because there's no heel backing on that. So the only way you can actually really move without those slippers falling off your feet is to pretty much try to keep your foot in a state of dorsiflexion the whole time. Now, you're locking your ankle in dorsiflexion, and for those of you who don't know what dorsiflexion is, it's basically just keeping your big toe pulled up towards your shins the entire time, right? And you're doing that, you're creating a habit of that with every step you take. Like, you're taking a minimum, 10,000 steps a day, let's say. I mean, and you're doing that in these shitty slippers so that they don't slide off your feet. You're trying not to let those, like, what do they cost, like $110 or some bullshit. You're trying not to let these slippers slide off your feet, these expensive fucking things that are actually ruining you, because you don't want your foot to be exposed. But what's really also happening is that in staying that dorsiflexion, right, what I've also seen people walking around with them constantly is not only are they dorsiflexed, but they're walking externally rotated. So externally rotated, for those of you who don't know or really understand, is your feet are now rotated out.
Like a
So
duck.
you're basically walking like a duck, or even a penguin, right? So like your
Waddling.
toes are basically facing, like, let's say at the minimum they're facing 11 and 1 o'clock. So now your gait is off, the way you walk is off, the way you're striking the ground is off, and your ankles are already tight, right? So tight ankles, tight feet, there's no rotation through those joints that need to be able to rotate. There's no mobility, right? So now you're forcing the next joint up, the knee, to be able to compensate for that lack of rotation from below, from your ankle. So the knee should only be hinging, but now it can't hinge properly, and it's got to compensate for poor movement from the ankles by then trying to rotate. A knee should never rotate, right? But on top of that, go further up the line. What's happening with these tight ankles and improper knee movement? You start to see that pelvic tilt. You start to see weak glutes, all right? And for some of you skinny athletes wearing these stupid friggin' slides or slippers, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the reason why that you're not fast, most of the time, from what I've seen at least, isn't because, you just weren't born fast. I mean, that's a whole nother story. But, these if you're wearing these slippers all the time, You know, it's preventing you from being fast and strong because you're never getting proper movement through your hips. I've never seen anybody who rock these slippers all the time and have great triple extension. I've never seen anybody that rock these slippers all the time with strong glutes. Nothing, right? All I've seen are just weak, deconditioned bodies with a soft mentality. And last I checked, sports are extremely chaotic and violent. I've never seen anybody succeed in a sport that was soft and weak. I mean, have you?
Oh, God.
And there you
We can
go.
talk
There's
about
the
that
answer
all
to
day.
that. But, I guess we'll save that for another episode. To sum it up, stop. If there's any kids out there listening to this, I won't say I'm sorry for my language, but you should really apologize to your parents for making them buy you those stupid fucking slippers. They could spend their money wisely somewhere else. I mean, I'm sure they probably already buy you a new baseball bat and a mitt every fucking season. I'm sure they're buying you fucking visors and arm sleeves that don't do anything for you on the football field. So, I don't know, maybe hire a trainer or, a gym membership. Do something more productive because aesthetically they look terrible and physically they're damaging your body. They're not doing anything that's good for your body. And don't even say, I hate when some people say, well, Tom Brady wears them. Tom Brady's a fucking GOAT. What do you want me to tell you? You're not Tom Brady.
He's an anomaly.
Yeah, he is an anomaly.
He's an anomaly. You can't even compare yourself.
And I still hate him because I'm a Jets fan. But whatever.
He also practices what he preaches, though.
Yeah. And, as much as I would say that he is the GOAT, I will still never call him a national treasure. Leading into our next and final topic, the listener/social media request.
Should I ask you the question? Because
You know what? Ask me a
I'm gonna ask
question.
you the
Should we
question.
tell them who brought this question to us? I have no
could.
idea. All right, we will. So go ahead, ask me a question.
do you want me to ask you the question first, or do you want?
Ask me the question first.
So, Teddy, who's the more influential American, Stephen A. Smith or Susan B. Anthony?
So this question was brought to you by one of our former athletes, Don Bosco alum, out of Ramsey, New Jersey, played at Seton Hall, and then played a couple years pro for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. His name is Mike Dietz. So Dietz wants to know, if you're out there, Dietz, listening to this, who's the more influential American? And, it's pretty simple. I mean, yeah, it's got to be Susan B. Anthony. It's definitely not Stephen A. Smith, or Screamin' A. Smith, as I want to call him. Why? Well, number one, I'm sure Susan B. Anthony, she was on U.S. currency. She literally is money. Stephen A. Smith doesn't know dick about anything outside of basketball, so he is not money there. I mean, how many times did he mention the San Diego Chargers on the air, live, when talking about football this season, 2019? I mean, they've been in L.A. Like, what are you doing, bro? And, not only that, Susan B. Anthony, a Patriot. She's still above Tom Brady, who's also a Patriot. But, fuck that. I'll never give Tom Brady a national treasure type of title. But Susan B. Anthony, definitely the more influential American. She's got her own dollar. Who else can say that? I mean, people print money all the time. They'll scream like Illuminati. But, Susan B. Anthony was on a dollar. And it used to piss me off that people would actually hand it to us as a quarter. But you know what? I didn't give a fuck because we just got a free $1 out of that. Thanks for the extra 75 cents. So, Stephen A. Smith, stay off the weed.
Do it again, please.
Stay off the weed. It's stay off the weed. And you can't stay off the weed. He ain't getting busted for using weed. Stays off the weed. You couldn't stay off the weed.
And
Stay off the damn weed. And they don't listen. Stupid. Sit there and stay on the weed. What's next? I don't know. Codeine, weed, alcohol. What's next?
So, I would say, let's not forget, I guess, the time of year. So, to all our Jewish brothers and sisters, happy Hanukkah. To all our brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters, right? I guess happy Kwanzaa, that must be coming up. I'm not too familiar with that. I don't have enough melanin. And then Merry Christmas, right?
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
'Cause,
happy holidays.
yeah, that is right around the corner. So, man, if you're listening to this, it's right before Christmas.
Start your shopping.
Yeah, you still have a little bit of time to shop because I haven't even started yet. So, but you know, it's too early for me to start. It's only December 23rd when we're recording this. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to listen to our first episode. If you want to follow us, right, on Twitter and Instagram, it's the same handle, @ODFitnessNY. Best way to get a hold of us right there. Slide into our DMs, all right? If you keep tuning in, soon, probably the next episode, most likely next episode, we'll have our first guest on the show. He's also one of our athletes, also a Don Bosco alum, went to Northeastern, played baseball, was drafted by the Cubs a few years ago, and last year he played for the El Paso Chihuahuas. His name is Jason Vossler. So you want to tune in to, hear about his journey with us, starting with us as a freshman in high school, all the way to
From back in the day.
getting drafted and now playing a child's game for a living. That'll be pretty interesting. But again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I had a lot of fun doing this. Gene, did you have a lot of fun?
Yeah, I had fun. We're working out the kinks,
Yeah, I can't wait to do more of this. Definitely,
Comedy act.
DM us for anything that you want to hear us talk about. But stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in.
Happy holidays, guys. Thank you.